You have probably been asked this.
Hi Ranbir, how's
Hi,
it
Nick.
going?
But what if you could take this common question and make almost anyone excited to talk to you?
Nervous, excited.
He started off by expressing how he feels. That sets the stage for the conversation. But what's more interesting is what he does next.
I was on Reels one day on Instagram and I came across this one reel of yours where you spoke about, was it detachment, indifference?
Detachment. yeah.
Detachment.
Uh,
And it was something which really resonated with me because I felt like, okay, that's something that I connected with. I was very afraid to say something like that. And I think that really kind of, I felt you there.
He immediately brought up a shared emotional experience. This is the best way to connect with anyone, and this is how you avoid getting stuck in boring conversations about traffic. Now, that's a great way to start a conversation, but that's actually not the most underrated social skill you need to learn. That skill has 3 habits underneath it, and the first is to encourage excitement. Everyone loves talking about something. You just have to find what it is.
When you say talent stacking, I've heard you say that a few times. What do you mean by that?
So, this is one of my favorite topics.
So, how can you start doing this? Ask people what they're proud of or passionate about. Things people are proud of or passionate about don't have to be something major. Even something as simple as quitting Instagram for a month can be enough to connect over. But my favorite way to do this is to ask this question.
so I'm speaking a lot more about myself than I have ever.
Who do you look up to? It doesn't have to be a family, anybody.
I was once talking to someone who was building a startup, and after we talked about his company, I asked him which founders he looks up to and who inspired him to start. He immediately started passionately talking about people who inspired him, and we were instantly able to connect. And this brings us to the next point. Dig deeper and ask why. Why is a powerful word because it invites the person to go past the superficial conversation and talk about their deeper feelings and motivations. And what you're doing when you ask these questions is called active listening. And active listening doesn't mean sitting around and listening to other people's problems. Active listening is about creating an environment to facilitate connection for both people. And asking why is one of the best ways to do that.
John, Julie, why do you both do what you do?
I love that question.
This is just a tool that you use occasionally in conversation, and this is not about asking back-to-back questions about why like a child. By the way, if you're enjoying the video so far, please subscribe. The next listening habit is to reflect their emotions back to them. Anything anyone says has 2 layers. One is the content and the other is the context. Context of what people are saying is typically seen through vocal tone or body language. Here are 2 examples of similar words but with completely different contexts.
I want to know what you want.
What do you want?
And this is why high-level listeners pay attention to the content and the context. Mirroring emotions like this shows the other person that you care about them and you care about what they think and feel. And that is how you form a connection with them.
Now I'm like, give me the money and then keep the happiness. Because I have been without money and I know what it feels like all day long. I prefer being with money.
You're really describing the comparison that causes the unhappiness between yourself, your family, who you guys were, and the other kids.
Yes, absolutely.
And to start doing this today, ask yourself what could be the underlying emotion underneath what the other person is saying. And if you're worried about getting it wrong, just use this phrase.
You have some belief, and correct me if I'm wrong, you have some belief that there is room for state intervention at the level of basic provision to.
The final habit we'll touch on today is letting silence sit. If you just wait for an extra 3 seconds after someone is done speaking, you'll find that people are almost always going to fill it in and continue speaking. Most people will love it when you give them space to express and speak. And that's because providing space to someone else to listen to them is one of the greatest gifts you can give to them.
How did she change you?
She has brought out the absolute best in me. Like in just about every way. Like, didn't think we were going to go here. She believed in me. And I think that's what most guys want. Truly. At least for me. That's what I want. Or needed.
Did you notice that the interviewer, Steven, didn't rush in immediately after the initial answer? He waited an extra few seconds and he created space for deeper reflection. And if you start practicing these habits of listening one by one, you will instantly start forming great connections with people without even having to do most of the talking. But this video was about how to listen. If you want to learn how to be a captivating speaker, check out this video.